Hey, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the country you are watching this stream from. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everybody is keeping up well. I apologize for not showing up yesterday. I was just not even able to look at the screen because of the sty on my eye, and thankfully, it is far better now. Almost got over this little nagging trouble, feeling pretty comfortable. Um, it has been a good day. So showing up on time, 10 p.m. sharp. I'll wait for a little while so that audience comes in, and then we are going to talk about copywriting. We were scheduled to talk about copywriting on Saturday, but somehow, somewhat, because of this tie on my eye, I could not conduct the class yesterday. So everybody who is asking about the eye now, the eye is pretty good. I guess I paid price for winking too much. So just kidding, but it's getting better now. Walaikum salam, everybody. Namaste. Thank you. I think we have got good enough audience, and let's just begin. Why copywriting? This was a question which was asked of me when I rolled out that form for registration of these training classes. And many people actually asked from memory, five of them from different parts of the world, inquiring about the importance of learning copywriting and why they should learn copywriting at first place. The question was asked by the people who were struggling with spoken as well as with written English. So I assume you know the thought process has to be it's coming from a particular background, so it has to be addressed. Look, to define copywriting, you have to understand the difference between copywriting and content writing. Copywriting is just the process of writing a content for marketing, promotional material, for advertisement purposes. That convinces people to some sort of call of action. So it's a process of writing persuasive marketing, which eventually triggers in a call to action. But when it comes to content writing is an explanation of something in detail. So copywriting is a summarized version of content writing, which actually uh, is an art of persuading someone to take an action. So I convince you that my product is the best product in the world. I convince you that my service is the best services in the world through appropriate selection of words, through creating an offer in an exciting way that it is extremely hard to refuse, and also by adapting in uh, tricks and trades such as creating scarcity, such as limit, limited time availability, and last but not the least, perhaps through a guarantee that if you buy this product, you're covered for next 24 hours, 48 hours, 2 months, whatever it is. We are going to discuss everything in detail. But at the end of the day, copywriting is an art of persuasion that convinces somebody to take an action. It is in a summarized form, it is in a very eye catchy form, and it has verbiage, it has content that is very hard to refuse. Now, why you should learn copywriting? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a freelancer, if you are, let's say, into e-commerce business, you got a YouTube channel, you're into social media marketing, perhaps selling digital products, how would copywriting come into play in these different walks of life, in these different skill sets? And the answer is very simple. See, when I say that copywriting is an art of persuasion, how effectively you write determines how quickly somebody would take an action. So, I'm going to discuss all fields one by one as a freelancer. With hundreds and thousands of freelancers placing their bid on different project placements, if you learn how to convey your point of view across effectively, if you learn how to use appropriate, wise selection of words that could convince your client once they go through your bid, once they go through your proposal, that this guy knows what does it take to catch a corner of someone's eye. The art of persuasion is the second step that comes after art of attracting somebody with your content, right? So once you engage them, and after a little while, once they are hooked up to your content and they are convinced, they are persuaded to take an action, perhaps this would help you win over your competitors as a freelancer. Now, this is freelancing and the importance of copywriting for freelancing. So, you write a proposal, and that proposal has to be summarized enough, brief enough, concise enough, and at the same time coherent enough to convince a client that this guy knows business. Always remember, 80% of your success is dependent on your body language. Now, that's pre-COVID world. After COVID-19, since everybody is doing business on the internet, you could safely convert some percentage of it into and give an attribute to copywriting, that it's about how you convince someone, it's about how you persuade someone to take an action. So, example, again for a discussion's sake, if you are a web developer, then you need to come up with a selection of words that are effective, persuading enough, and should convince your client to initiate a conversation with you. So I read as a client, as an employer, I read your proposal, and it should be convincing enough to set you apart from your competitors and persuade me to get in touch with you. This is copywriting importance for freelance industry. Now, when you talk about blogging, reading is boring for majority of the people. I mean, hear me out for a second, but let's be honest. It is not easy, or maybe not as exciting to read a lengthy content unless and until it has a nice story built into it, and the selection of words are so convincing that a user is convinced to read on. Unless and until the story is built in a way that a reader is convinced to read on, I guess they'll bounce off of the content, and they won't read it further if it is not built into a way. And that is where copywriting comes into equation. You have to write effectively, you have to write concisely. The selection of words has to be appropriate enough. No, Sajad, I cannot answer you. This is not a question and answering class. You're in the wrong place, bro. So the selection of the words has to be appropriate enough for somebody to be convinced to continue reading your content. And that is why copywriting is very important in blogging. Now, when you talk about social media marketing is all about organic outreach as well as paid advertisement. So when you talk about paid advertisement, you've only got a limited length of words to convince somebody to take an action. That limited length of words has to be compiled in such an effective way that not only it attracts a viewer or a reader, but it also convinces them. It should also persuade them to take an action. And in this case, maybe contact the advertiser, maybe visit their website, perhaps call their WhatsApp number. The art of writing your words in an effective way that it should persuade somebody is, is essentially called copywriting. Now, again, the reason why, as a visitor, as a viewer, somebody should click on your advertisement and take an action depends on how effective the copywriting is done. Now you move down to YouTube. You don't to forget about YouTube. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the song we like the most are because they've got a very mesmerizing tune to it, and the second thing is the words. They sort of like get stuck in our mind, and they get stuck in our mind is because of the copywriting. Same goes for movie dialogues. We remember our favorite movies and their favorite dialogues because of copywriting. For example, when you talk about Bollywood movie Sholay, kitne aadmi the? Remember? Or maybe when you talk about a television commercial, sometimes you remember the words just because of effective copywriting. Michael Jackson appeared in a Pepsi ad in late 70s, early 80s, and that advertisement is still in the minds of people who belong to uh, Generation X. You are Pepsi generation. This is it. Just a summarized one liner, so well thought that the words are just stored in your mind forever. Gabbar, yeah, right. So um, my emphasis in this training class would be to not only highlight the importance of copywriting, but also show you few pointers that could help you get a basic understanding of copywriting, and also perhaps create an urge to, to learn it. So without wasting time, I'm about to take you to my screen, and that is where, by the way, the link of this blog post is already given in the description of this video. So regardless of the medium you are watching this video on, could be Facebook, could be Facebook group, or could be YouTube, all you need to do is just click on the description somewhere and you'll be able to get this link. But just to avoid uh, time wasting here, let me give you the link as well. There you go. So you're gonna see that on your screen in a while in a comment section. Now, I have covered copywriting in detail. The guy here who has written this amazing piece of content is actually a copywriter who looks after my social media advertisement, who looks after my LinkedIn, and this guy is amazing, known to me for over a decade, and one of the best copywriters I've come across in the country. And the reason why I say so is because whatsoever promotion I have accidentally or deliberately experienced on social media is because of this guy. So copywriting weighs in very heavily. It plays a very instrumental role. And for writing an effective, good copywriting or a sales copy, you got to understand that there's a formula called IDA. If you learn this by heart, everything will become much more easy for you guys. So IDA is basically attention, interest, desire, and action. Hang in there. I'm going to explain every point in detail. So commonly, it's a copywriting formula commonly known as IDEA is an abbreviation of attention, interest, desire, and action. You got to grab your viewers or readers' interest with an interesting headline. Now, after attention, you got to have a great opening that probably creates an excitement about what you are selling. Could be a product, could be a service. Then, after the interest part, that is nicely created through a selection of words or probably with a great one-liner, you got to create desire. For example, do you want to learn copywriting? Do you want to make money on the internet? How I made money as a freelancer. So, you create desire among your readers or viewers. And then the last but not the least, you got to do whatever it takes to persuade the reader or viewer to take an action. Take an action essentially means that they are going to contact you, but they are only going to contact you if you introduce some magic trick up your sleeve, such as creating scarcity, telling about limited offer, perhaps giving them a money back guarantee, which creates an excitement, which creates an interest uh, in the mind of viewer or reader that, you know what, I've got nothing to lose. At the end of the day, I am backed up with a money back guarantee offer. So if I do not like what I see, what I experience, I can go back to them, and I understand that no questions would be asked. So IDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. We're going to discuss everything in detail, starting from attention, and then creating interest and desire, and then, of course, a call to action. Now, in a YouTube class, if you remember, I talked about 4 W's and 1 H. The 4 W's refer to what, where, when, why, and 1 H refer to how. An interesting headline could also have numbers in it. For example, 3 best ways of making money on the internet. 2 reasons why you should buy this product. Okay, I apologize. So I'm zooming it in. There you go. Just zoomed in. Just zoomed in. I apologize for not looking at the comments earlier. So the master says that you should probably use number in your headline. Start headline with numbers, or use 4 W's or 1 H in your headline. What is the best way of making money on the internet? Where can I learn copywriting? 6 ways of winning freelance projects. And then again, in the same statement, you could actually create more excitement. Number 2 is my best. Now, surely people are going to click on the thumbnail or the link to find out what exactly is number 2. Then the use of mistakes in the headline is actually very influential as well. For example, 3 mistakes every freelancer makes when they bid on a project. Surely, as a freelancer who's struggling, you would be inclined to click on that title. The fourth thing is ask a question. For example, hey, do you want to make money on the internet? Hey, do you want to buy a shoe that is long lasting? Do you wish to learn how to tie a tie? The fifth thing is use of punctuation. That's self explanatory, of course. And then, the last but not the least, uh, try to supply your copy with picture, and picture should be relevant. Because if you talk about shoe, and if you supply a picture of some other product, you're just making the ad and the effort and the money go down the drain. Good copywriting converts feature into benefits. Generation X would realize that when Apple introduced this new iPod ad in late 90s, Apple didn't talk about storage. As a matter of fact, Steve Jobs was smart enough as a entrepreneur with an eye into the future that he highlighted the benefits of buying iPod because you could store 1,000 plus songs, and this feature of storage was far bigger than any MP3, CD, or a cassette could hold. So he converted features into benefits. You often come across weight loss ads, and the problem with those weight loss ads is every ad surprisingly talks about want to lose weight. Instead, how about if they focus on, hey, do you want to look like Tom Cruise? Want to get a waistline like Shah Rukh Khan? So effectively, if you are able to convert a feature into a benefit, you are persuading the viewer or a reader to take an action. And this is what copywriting is all about, right? So now moving down to four powerful techniques that will help you become the best copywriter. Do not go at length in explaining your product, in explaining its benefit. Conciseness, it means to the point. One of the best headlines I love about Sprite was an amazing copywriting done. And by the way, I remember reading it somewhere that the copywriter who uh, came up with this tagline actually won some award for being for the best copywriter, and that tagline was "Seedhi baat, no bakwas." So to the point, get Sprite and um, quench your thirst. So your prospects do not have enough time, and they want to just skim through the copy. Not everybody's got time to read all of your content, because if they got time to read all the content, it's not copywriting anyway. I mean, it is content writing, and we have clearly established the difference between content writing and copywriting. Copywriting is concise. uh, it summarizes all necessary information about your product and service, and then it persuades or convinces a call to action. So you need to have bullet point, perhaps headings, and try to explain your copywriting with pictures. Second thing is spot your headline with a great opening. Headline is one thing, and opening comes after headline. What does this mean? It means that the title says, want to make money online? Want to have a sound sleep? Perhaps an ad for a pillow. The reason why I thought about pillows because I just bought one in the morning. I was struggling through my old pillow and sleep all through the night. So I wanted to replace it with um, you know, better technology. A heading needs to have an opening just to make sure that the user reads on. And an opening could be 9 out of 10 celebrities use our pillow. Enough. I'm sold. If celebrities are using it. So he has actually talked about my problem in a headline that I'm unable to sleep all through the night. Uh, my pillow is not comfortable. And then the ad has a great opening. 9 out of 10 celebrities use our pillow. Perfect for me to be convinced and persuaded enough to take an action. Testimonials. Somebody's got to testify your product and service. What does testimonial mean? It means that someone in the past has tried your product and service, and they're not only they are pleased with the results, but they also want to vouch or voice their opinion about your product. They praise your business. They're satisfied with your customer services. They are satisfied with your business ethics. A testimonial plays a very instrumental role in convincing a reader to take an action. For example, if you are about to buy a product, maybe take an example of next gen pillow. If you get in few celebrities with their pictures or perhaps a video and issuing a statement about uh, how good uh, this particular product is, automatically I'll be sold. Remember that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street? Sell me this pen. People don't buy pen because of its qualities. People buy pen because of its associations, because some celebrity they admire the most has used it. Rolex advertises its product to tennis stars. Roger Federer uses Rolex. So you might have noticed that whenever he wins a Grand Slam, he goes in and changes, gets uh, and wears this Rolex watch, good enough for a Rolex to do huge sales in the next quarter because their brand ambassador has just showcased one of the new products of Rolex, and people who are brand loyal, they are sold because of this testimonial. Testimonial means vouching for that company, praising that product or a service. Build trust. Fourth thing, a trust could be built with building confidence. So for example, if you give a strong guarantee, by offering a strong guarantee, you are convincing a potential reader or a buyer of a product to take an action because they know at the end of the day their money is safe and they can get money back guarantee. So always try to build trust by not only, here's another way to do it. Uh, Not only you give them a money back guarantee, but sometimes you let them get a hands down experience of a particular product. In a case of automobile industry, you probably know that they let you take a test drive of their vehicle inside their own premises. But the reason why this happens is because once you experience that particular vehicle and drive the car yourself, in this process, if you like the experience, by the time you step out of the car, you are already sold, and you have probably made a decision that you want to have this car. Now it gets down to the specifics of uh, signing a paper and identifying your monthly cost. Warren Buffett, again, I'm just watching this from the link I have given you. Warren Buffett's secret to copywriting and making money. One of the most profound investors in the world was once asked, what is the best advice you could give to younger people? And Warren Buffett profoundly answered, one of the best advice I could give to younger people is to work on their communication skills, written as well as oral. So if you can work on your communication skill, written and oral, you are giving yourself a fair chance of getting noticed. Do you know that the only certificate that is hanged on Warren Buffett's office, as was reported a couple of years back, is a copywriting um, communication skill certificate? And this says a lot about the importance of excelling at the highest level. Warren says that whenever I write an annual report to my investors, I write it like as if I'm speaking to my younger sister. So he begins his conversation with the words such as dear Doris, that's her sister name. The reason why he adapts this user-friendly approaches, because when writing it is very important to keep user in mind. If you start using fancy words in your content, if you start using difficult words in your content, words that are hard to understand, people will not read that copy, and most importantly, they will not be sold and they won't take a decision. Look, there's a very small difference between spoken and written English. Spoken is direct and, as if you're speaking to somebody in person, but when you write it, the tone gets slightly different. But if you can follow the same tone for a written content that you usually follow for spoken conversation, according to Warren Buffett, that you attitude, the you approach, helps you go places in life. So it's very important to converse by keeping the user in mind. Make sure you write user friendly content. Make sure it is focused on them. One of the examples of you is as picked by uh, the course and a case study at MBA. It says that Apple has used U word in their famous first Apple ad 81 times. iPhone was used 81 times, Apple was used 26 times, and the word UR was used over 100 times. For example, you can browse, download, and stream content at remarkable speed wherever you happen to be. You attitude, talking about the user, convinces them, persuades them that the ad is directly or indirectly talking about them. Amazing approach, and good enough for somebody to be convinced to buy a product or service from that business. So copywriting is all about addressing you rather than them. Talk about you, a direct approach, why you should use our product, the benefits of our product. Then a good copywriting, since we have established one important fact that copywriting is concise. then you are advised to use contractions in your copy. So we are could be changed to we are, could not is changed to couldn't, you is changed to you'll, should not is changed to shouldn't. You try a concise approach. It's a again a differentiation between written and spoken English that gives the impression that you are speaking directly to a reader, eventually building a relationship. Now, for social media, as discussed earlier, one of the best ways of making your ad sell is through use of copywriting. If you can convince your reader and persuade them enough to take an action, as a copywriter, you have done your job. As a copywriter, you have convinced them to buy your product or service or do business with you for that matter. I'm going to show you a few amazing examples of good copywriting in images. For example, you're familiar with this Amazon ad. Get your affiliate site today. One liner, but strong enough and translates the word into a strong message. Digital marketing through pictures, not even a single word written. On left hand side, you see websites. On right hand side, you see all the social media icons. Website development, hired, and then an HTML code on monitor screen. 50% off, presented in an amazing way, and job well done, right? And by the way, we are just using pictures here. Make money from your website by showing in the globe and pens on different parts of the globe. You are giving out a notion that world is all yours. This is the most famous ad discussed in many case studies. This ad went viral by IKEA. Very simple message that they are giving away their stock, and the lucky enough gets a chance to win 100% of the sale voucher for certain items. This ad actually was discussed in CNN by late Larry King as well. I've seen that video on YouTube myself. So sale now 100%. An amazing way of translating your content into a message. And that's what copywriting is all about. And then, of course, there are other examples as well. A good copywriting on a social media needs to have a call to action. For example, one-to-one consultation, personalized payment plan. That's actually for a website ad we created. Uh, I guess it was our first training on this very channel in late October. And I created this copywriting. You can actually copy this from the link already given to you in the description of this video. Go on, click on the link, and you should be able to watch it. But I mean, talking about the YouTube, not sure if people on Facebook can see the URL as well, but on YouTube, it's actually in the description of the video. And then everything highlighted in a simple tick marks, bulleted points. As they say, copywriting works best when it is summarized and presented in a bulleted form. Best return on investment, act now. And then call to action, contact us today, send inbox messages. Talking about the conclusion, a good copywriting is, that's what you need to pay a very close attention to, guys. Heading, opening, converting features into benefits. What is your offer? Is it backed up by a money back guarantee? Have you created a scarcity of your product? And last but not the least, call to action. For example, One of the biggest mistake YouTubers make is they do not give call to action. I'm guilty of following those footprints as well. In my videos, I never give call to action. Hey, subscribe my channel, gently press the bell icon. But I'm going to change that in this video. All YouTubers who are watching this video, uh, would you be kind enough in clicking a like button to this video? And if you are watching my video on my channel for the very first time, I would request you to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. So once you understand the basic points that how copywriting works and how you are able to translate your message into a call to action by using appropriate, summarized, concise words, you give yourself a fair chance of making sales and allowing people to do business with you. Does that make sense, folks? Is that something that sounds music to your ears and information uh, that is new to you? Drop in your eyes here. Meanwhile, let me go through my messages here. The phone was just buzzing, ting, 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 and I forgot to. Wonderful. My inspiration for copywriting, of course, if you read Seth Godin, this guy is amazing. I mean, at the end of the day, he's amazing. But again, I'm just not purely a huge fan of Seth Godin. I've learned a lot from Ty Lopez. I've learned a lot from Billy Jeans's marketing. I've learned a lot from Tony Robbins. These folks have aced their way to the success courtesy copywriting. You see, the art of translating your words into a call to action by convincing and persuading someone to do business with you, this should be good. I have not seen Ashraf Chaudhry copywriting, so I'm not able to comment on this, sir. But I know that he's selling a course about copywriting. Not sure who is doing it, but the reason why I talk about copywriting is because, look, I'm a freelancer. I'm a blogger. I'm someone who has got a good grip on digital marketing. And then when you talk about digital marketing, of course, social media marketing, I've got huge number of projects from Facebook alone because of my copywriting. And you remember we going through that copywriting example on my Facebook. Yeah, I mean, Ty is always bragging about his assets, but what you see is what gets sold. I mean, that's just how world works. Unfortunately, money attracts money. And one of the things I've realized over the years is copywriting does not come handy in a written communication, but also in oral communication. I've observed a huge improvement in my conversation with people that I'm able to summarize my point of view and I'm able to convey that effectively without going at length about it. And also, I've seen that the selection of words, because of my blogging career for the last 4 years, that has actually improved because my vocabulary has improved. Uh, so when I was struggling to get projects from freelance marketplaces, Google predominantly, unfortunately, because of huge competition and amazing saturation, Surely I had to do something to make ends meet and to survive my career as an internet worker. And that is where social media marketing and on social media marketing, my copywriting ability uh, helped me not only get continuous and consistent sales leads, but also helped me in uh, teaching this art, paid teaching to the people in West. So what I do is, uh, that's for another day. What I do, what I do to hook up my students and charge them for my 1 hour webinars. Uh, that's for another day, and I'll show you how it is done. Perhaps I'll, since I've decided to create playlists on this channel and record videos inside the those playlists in business development, uh, in on this English channel, I might just be inclined to record a video about this. Okay. So please introduce niche specific course like Facebook ad strategy for restaurants. And look, this would be a never ending story, my friend. So when I talk about restaurants or doctors, and I talk about perhaps copywriting or Facebook ad strategy for uh, one industry and then covering another, there are zillions of industries I cannot possibly cover. On my main channel, I'm still trying to get over the comments on my real estate video. Not sure how many of you have seen that real estate video. And in that video, I have shown the copywriting, social media paid advertisement I did for one of my friend in 2020 early January with amazing response, over 2000 comments with over 300 leads from UAE, and the target audience was UAE people from Sharjah, Emirates. Uh, the reason I believe I was able to get that ad literally kick off was because of copywriting. You got to convince clients by converting the features into benefits. You got to create scarcity. You got to give them a guarantee. You got to keep them comfortable. You got to convince them to take a call to action. Most importantly, it's all about having an opening. So my ad cost was probably $200. That's US dollars. And I can assure you, my friend ended up selling 2 floors worth what? Maybe maybe 7 million, maybe 7 million. Rashda, you need to see that ad on my main channel. By the way, I'm gonna, again come up with videos for this channel as well. But the point I want to emphasize is copywriting. If you learn the art of copywriting, regardless of the industry you work for or you want to target, copywriting is one convincing way of persuading your clients to do business with you. Then, whatsoever the industry you belong to, whatsoever the niche you are focusing on, if you learn the art of copywriting, if you know how to concisely uh, convey your point of view across and convince and persuade your clients, this is it. Yeah, thank you, Rashta. So, copywriting folks, I want you to go through this link. I want you to, if it is hard for you to understand, in first attempt, read it twice. It is not going to hurt you. I can assure you. At the end of the day, you are not only going to benefit from the tricks I have explained in this content, but you will also be able to translate this into a profession. Copywriters are probably one of the highest paying internet workers, internet business people, because everybody needs copywriter. If you talk about PR agency, they need a copywriter to not only create a copy for an amazing ad, but also for a social media presence. Copywriter is able to help, they're helping themselves to go places in life. Amazing by all stretch of imagination. Thank you, Khalil. Thank you. Good to see your comment. So this is it, folks. Go through the okay. So here's the reason. You For those who do not understand Zan's content context for this comment, Zan's context for this comment comes from my main channel, and in my digital marketing videos, we came up with this amazing phrase of "kukad phasao," which means grab the client. Come up with copywriting, come up with social media marketing, come up with an ability to convince clients to allow you to help them with new leads and sales. So here was a barber uh, next door, and the reason why I lend my help for them was because I wanted to prove a point that social media in Pakistan has not even kicked off. Early days, and everybody should capitalize on this opportunity, because if you are helping small businesses as a social media marketing agency, as an officeless agency, by helping them in by helping them uh, in generation of leads and sales, you are making a little dime. And I also believe that next range of internet millionaires would probably come from social media marketing niche, because small businesses are struggling. In US, small businesses have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Oh, absolutely, Hanif Saab. Copywriting means you literally skim a content and persuade someone to take an action, whereas content writing goes at length in defining the context of that particular post. These are two different things here. uh, One last thing before I leave is I want you to go through this content again, the link I've given you. Learn copywriting, start practicing it, create a couple of Facebook ads. You will be amazed with the results. And once you get some, heartwarming results, you probably would be able to offer this service to other struggling small businesses. The reason why small businesses hire social media marketers is because they do not know how to write effective copy, which is copywriting, of course, and secondly, they do not know how to get leads from social media. Now you know how to write an effective copy. You know how to create a social media ad on Facebook and Facebook owned companies such as Instagram. You have acquired reasonably good knowledge to not only help them uh, in generating leads for their business, but also if that lead is converted into a sale, you get a percentage out of it. Thank you, Praja. Thank you. So this is it, folks. Copywriting, learn it. I'll see you guys tomorrow on a freelancing class. Tomorrow we are going to talk about Fiverr. Tomorrow we are going to talk about more bidding. And the whole program kicks off again starting tomorrow all the way to Sunday. So tomorrow is Monday, and Monday is freelancing. Tuesday is digital marketing. Wednesday is social media marketing. Thursday is blogging. Friday is YouTube. Saturday, we were supposed to talk about copywriting and business development, split it into two, but I could not talk about business development. But I'll do that, inshallah, on Saturday. With all that, thank you very much and take good care of yourselves.